Welcome to the top 10 businesses that made crazy pivots which proved to be way more successful than their original venture. Some of them not so far-fetched, but some of them are actually pretty crazy. Let's just jump right into it. Starting at number 10, Starbucks. Yeah, they didn't always sell coffee. Well, they did always sell coffee. Literally. They started by selling coffee machines and high quality coffee beans. They did that for a few years before they actually started to sell coffee as we know it. It sort of happened when they started handing out the free samples to show their coffee machines worked and their beans tasted good. So then they just started selling brewed coffee instead. Number 9, American Express. American Express they're sort of a credit card company, sell travel insurance and things like that. But originally, they were actually a postal service. Way back in 1850, that's what they did. They did post, and that's where the name American Express comes from, because express delivery, that kind of thing. But that was way back, and then they moved in New York into the financial district, and that's how they sort of evolved into this credit card insurance bank-esque company. Number 8, Twitch. If you don't know what Twitch is a live streaming website for gaming. And it actually started as a website called Justin.tv. Justin.tv. And basically it was a guy called Justin, who was one of the founders, who live streamed his whole life. So then they sort of evolved into a live streaming website that could accommodate anyone. They sort of found that a lot of the people who were streaming video games. And so they decided to cut everyone else out and just focus on the video games. And then they sold their company to Amazon for, it was something like 900 million or something like that. Number 7 is Groupon. Now Groupon was actually a website that connected subscribers with local sellers. And these local sellers would, then make money from people buying their stuff. But what they actually found was people were grouping together into groups who all wanted, say, TVs, and then they would bulk buy TVs, so they would save money through economies of scale. So by buying a bunch, then you save more money. And so that's what they sort of evolved into. They evolved into this website where you now get like vouchers and things like that, and you save money because they buy so many of them and distribute them between all their people. Number 6 is Suzuki. Suzuki are a car manufacturing company that started in Japan. But they weren't always a car manufacturing company. They actually manufactured looms. Because way back in, I think it was 1909. 1909, they made looms because back then Japan had a massive silk industry. Massive. But then come the start of the war sort of area, 1937, they started manufacturing cars, and this is where they made their switch because they made far more money from cars than they did from looms. Even though they actually invented a type of loom that they then sold around the world, but cars. Number 5 is YouTube. Now, YouTube today is it's the place to go for online video. And then there's like Facebook and Vimeo and things like that. But they actually started as a online dating website. So what you'd do is you'd upload your dating profile to their thing. People would look at it. They'd go to your page or your channel and watch your dating video. But what they actually found is people were uploading really random videos, and so they were just like, hey, let's just let people upload whatever they want. And now, here they are. They got bought out by Google for something like $1.5 billion. Not too bad, really. Number 4, Nokia. Nokia, Nokia actually started in 1865. I think that's right. Yeah, 1865. And they were a rubber company. They made these things called galoshes. If you don't know what a galosh is, it's sort of like a rubber outer shoe, overshoe, that is waterproof and sort of protects your shoes from getting wet. So they made them, but then they sort of moved into this tech market and started making indestructible phones, and then got bought out by Microsoft. So they made that jump. Number 3, Twitter. Twitter was actually the brainchild of I think it was a professor and an undergrad student. They were working for this podcasting company and they were trying to come up with ideas. And they had this sort of like text message group that they would, communicate with. And that is what evolved into Twitter. Because obviously back then you had character limits on how many characters you could send in a text. Number 2, Avon. Avon, they're like a makeup company, I guess, where you become a representative and then you sell their stuff to your friends. But they actually started as a door-to-door book sales group. So they would go around door to door, bang on your door, you would come in, they'd try and sell you a book. So one of the things they were trying to do to sell more books to women was offer free makeup. And what they found is that the women were actually more interested in buying the makeup than they were in buying the book. So they just scrapped the books, started selling makeup. Number 1, possibly the craziest change from all these companies is the Marriott. The hotel chain? They actually started selling root beer from a hole in the wall. A hole in the wall is just like a tiny shop where you just buy out of this hole in the wall. But come summer, nobody wanted to drink root beer anymore. And so they had one of the founders' grandmas go to the Mexican embassy to persuade the chef to teach them how to cook Mexican food. And then they set up a Mexican restaurant. And they sort of spread throughout the US, making Mexican restaurants. And it went really, really well. But then President Eisenhower made all the freeways and the interstates and things like that. And they decided, why don't we just plop a hotel down? So they did, and, they say the rest is history. I think they're one of the biggest hotel chains in the world. Okay, so that's the video. The top 10 businesses that made crazy changes and became way more successful because of them. If you want more videos about like business and things like that, you should definitely leave a comment saying so, because I definitely would like to do more business videos, but I don't really know that much about business. I would like to know a lot more, but I don't know that much. I know a bit. Enough. Anyway, I'll see you next time.